We're down here today in the basement in our corporate electronics lab, and I wanted to show you guys here at Oshkosh, we actually have a virtual truck on this test bench. You can see here we've got every control. We've got hydraulic switches, we've got broom positions, we've got joystick controls. All this is available on our bench. So anytime that we're working on code, when we're making features or enhancements, we're testing it here on the bench before we ever put it on one of our actual trucks. And one of the primary focuses why we're here is I want to talk about our display today, as well as our broom controls and our armrest switches. Right now I want to talk about our new broom window pattern control. And if you look up here on our chart, you can see that we have added a new graph to our screen. The overall size of this box represents a pattern window. We're calling it a window now, of plus or minus 10 adjustments. This green area that you see, that represents a user configurable option, and in this case it's actually set to plus or minus 5 adjustments. The black line here, that represents what we call our broom base position. When your maintenance technician is out there setting the truck and he sets the pattern, he's setting that black bar. Now the red line, that is actually our broom target position. So our operator is allowed to run this truck. If you're the operator, you can move this red line up and down all the way throughout the extent of this green box. And let me just show you an example here. If I hit the pattern increase button, you'll notice that it turned red and the red bar moved. We'll hit it again. We'll hit it again. Now we're sitting at the very bottom. If I try to push this button beyond that, it's not going to light up red. It's basically giving you an indication that I'm at the bottom of the window, I can't move anymore. But if I go back here and hit pattern decrease a couple of times, you can see that it will allow me to move up in the window range. If I go over here to the maintenance setting, in the maintenance setting, it's kind of neat here. We've got a lot of different information. We're allowing you to go and there's a timer. Right now this one happens to be at 0. It hasn't been operating, but this is on our test bench. We can monitor how much hours your core is actually used. You can reset the core. You can see that from this screen. And I really want to talk about these items down here. Your current broom position. So in this point, the current broom and the broom target are the same. This is our test bench. But let's say you had the broom lifted all the way to the upper position. This number is going to represent where that broom is currently positioned. The broom target position, that's going to be representative of that red bar that we talked about. That's showing you where that's located. And then we have our pattern window range. That's telling you this is the full range of the window that we're trying to use. This is a useful screen, especially for a maintenance technician. If he's out there running the broom, he knows that he's started over. He's got a brand new core and he has to set it. He can go on this screen. I'd recommend starting at about 400. That's very close to a brand new set of bristles just before they touch the ground. So he can get this very close just by watching this screen before he even goes to any of our pattern set points. We're going to leave this screen right now. We're going to go over to our broom settings. Now in your broom settings, you can see there's a lot of different settings that we can set on the broom. All of these items shown here with a lock, that means that you have to enter a password to access that screen. And your airport management is probably going to be the keeper of that password. I know a lot of different places, sometimes mechanics do it, sometimes the operators do it, depending on the size of the airport. But we're going to go into the broom pattern set to show you exactly how to do it. Okay, we're at the broom pattern set screen. If you look at this screen here, once again, these numbers are very similar to that maintenance screen that I showed you before. Notice there's instructions here. To set the broom pattern, use pattern increase and pattern decrease on your armrest or at the fender controls. Basically what that means is if I'm in here and I'm trying to set the pattern, once I'm in this password protected screen, I can go over here and hit pattern increase and notice that my target position changes. So I can press these buttons, pattern increase or pattern decrease, until I get it to where I want it to be. From there, I have to hit save. make sure you hit save. Once you leave this screen, if you didn't hit save, nothing will have changed. And another added enhancement we have is we actually show you here when's the last time that pattern was saved. To further explain this screen, we have some switches down on our fenders on the truck. If you enter this screen, you can use those switches on the ground to set your pattern. That way a maintenance technician, he can actually be on the ground watching the broom. He can set that precisely. Once he comes back up in the cab, he's got to hit save. You hit save, your new pattern set point is established. We're going to go back out of this screen right now. We're going to go back one more time. You know, we're back at the main screen. You can see we did some setting. Right now our red line is sitting right on top of the broom base. That's what it's going to look like after you do a pattern set. If I hit pattern increase a couple times, you'll see that the red bar moved once again. We're going to go back into the broom settings. I want to talk about some other stuff as well. So we're back in broom settings. We did broom pattern set. Now we're going to look at broom pattern window. Right now you can see it's set at 10. I'll show you in a minute what that means. Once again, I've got to enter the password. Here's your broom window pattern. So right now you see we got a nice little chart here. We've got our base shown. That's what you just set when you did the pattern set. Then you can see there's a little 5 there, there's a little 10 there. Your overall size is 10. That means plus or minus 5. I can go over here and I can decrease, which keeps making it smaller, or I can increase, which makes it bigger. I'm back to a size of 10. I decided that's where I want to stay, that's what I want to be. I'm going to go here and hit save. Now I've established that I've got a setting at 10, which means plus or minus 5. I hit back, go back to my main screen. Looks very similar to what you've seen. This is giving everyone out there an opportunity to have more adjustments. Some airports only want to have a small range of adjustment. Some airports, maybe they've got different snow conditions, rougher pavement. Maybe they want a bigger adjustment. We're giving you the opportunity to have the best of both worlds with this new design. I'm going to go back into the screen here, and I just want to touch briefly on some of the other settings. So we go back to broom settings. We've got our ground speed function. Right now it's turned off. You can turn this on or off. Once again, that is password protected. And to kind of tell you about ground speed control, it's really an automatic broom RPM control. We're trying to optimize the bristle strikes per linear foot traveled as you drive the truck. So the way ground speed control works is we've got settings 0 through 5. 0 is a setting, let's say it's cold out, you set it at 0, at idle, the broom will be spinning probably around 50 or 60 RPM. It's not really meant to be operated at 0, but that option is there. So what ground speed does is we're actually monitoring the core size of the broom. As that core gets smaller, this diameter is decreasing, you need to spin it faster in order to still get that same bristle strikes as you drive. The other thing that we monitor is we monitor truck speed. So if you're going very slowly, we have our base setting. But as you accelerate that truck and drive faster, we're going to speed up the broom automatically to once again keep that setting the same. Oshkosh's recommended positions, if you're running a wafer core, I would say try ground speed 2 or ground speed 3 to start with. If you're running a cassette bristle, I would recommend ground speed 3 or 4. Cassettes have 28 rows. There's not quite as many bristles there. You're going to get a more optimum performance spinning a cassette just a little faster than a wafer. The next item down here is Smart Pattern. Smart Pattern is kind of for us a set it and forget it kind of deal. The first time you go out and you set the pattern, your maintenance technician, he's defined what the pattern is on that truck. As you drive this truck, we actually have a timer circuit built in. That circuit counts down how long that broom has been running. And not only that, it knows where the broom is at. So it's not going to count it if your park brake is set and you're spinning up in the air. It's only counting down while that broom is close to the ground, near that target range of operation, when it knows that you're actually truly brooming and not just keeping the vehicle warm and moving. That broom is going to automatically decrement the pattern increase based on the timer. So every so often, it's going to drop that pattern set point a notch of 1. Your whole window range, your window will stay the same. The base number is going to change, and it's slowly going to work itself down as the hours increase. Right now with our software, we're trying to shoot for about 100-hour core life with our smart pattern timers. But once again, it's all dependent on snow conditions. And if an operator is taking full advantage of the full window size, running closer to the bottom, running a heavier pattern, that life is going to decrease. The next item we have here is snow shed. Snow shed is just simply an option, whether you have it or not. This is a setting for you. And the last setting we have on here is called lift lower operation. Basically the way our smart pattern works, the way our broom pattern setting, the way our joystick, all of our operating controls, this truck, we want it in auto all the time. When you're in auto mode, it's going to work the way it's supposed to. What we have here is we give the maintenance technicians an option. He can set this in manual for a brief period of time. He's doing troubleshooting, he's doing testing. It's going to stay in manual so he can move it. But once you cycle the power on the truck, it's going to automatically default back to auto, because that's really where we need our truck operating to perform at its best. I will say that with this software change, we did make a minor adjustment. This is your auto manual button. For a time there we were locked out. Our new feature, the way auto manual is going to work, it's going to control your broom swing. So if you're in auto mode, if you tap it to the right, that whole entire broom head is going to swing all the way to the right, just like you want it to in auto mode. But if you turn this off, let's say you're operating inside of a building, somewhere it's a tight area, this is going to allow you to, it's only going to move while you're pressing the joystick. And that was something our customers really demanded to feel more comfortable driving the truck.